But you gotta move over this way. Hey, everybody, how are we? Are we live? Yes, we are.
Hi,
We're
everyone.
live.
Dr. Shannon on soon.
Okay, I'm just gonna check.
We
which
still have a lot of
internet
people
I'm
joining.
on. Okay. Good. No more bookcase background. Hey, yes, Jeff. That is my 24 picture canvas prints of Panama. Many I took pictures I took myself. Some are just purchased licenses.
We've
And
upgraded the
actually, the
background.
top one is an AI generated Panama Canal.
No way.
I did that myself. So, yep.
It's beautiful.
There we go. All right, so we're going to get started very shortly, guys, in about 2 minutes. Let's say hi to everyone. Hello, Melanie. Hello, Carol. I think we're going to have a few local people on this call too, Megan.
I saw that we have somebody from Volcán,
Hello,
Boquete.
Laura. Oh, but we got Washington, Karen from way up in Washington. Hey.
The Pens out in Parayon.
Hi, Joyce. Marta and Eric, how are you guys? Brian and Maureen. They've been here, Megan, for almost 2 weeks. They haven't come visited us yet because they're
Can you
enjoying
believe
the
it?
beach too much. So, Brian and Maureen, when are you coming to Boquete? Oh, we should tell Oscar that they're down there. Maybe he'll stop
That's
by.
right.
Yeah.
We'll have a group coming through on Saturday. Maybe they'll stop and say hello.
Carol, Dave, Russell, Jeff. How are you, Jeff? And Russell, you're there twice. Oh, you're in Panama City, Russell, right now. Oh yeah, of course you are. Ruth and Harvey.
Oh, look, even Nancy's on.
Oh, there we go.
You guys are starting your tour tomorrow.
Yeah, first.
So excited to meet you. I'll meet you on Tuesday. Rod will meet you on Monday.
Did Oscar find you at the airport? Yeah. Obviously, because you must have made it to your hotel. All right, guys, it is 7 p.m. We always start on time. Typically, everyone doesn't get here on time.
We still have people coming in.
Yeah.
We'll do some introductions
And
before we
but
bring on
Yeah.
our guest speaker who
definitely.
everyone will want to hear.
And we do want to welcome people on YouTube and Facebook. If you guys want, yes, you can listen to this whole thing. You can't see the questions and the chat. You can only see your own chat if you're in YouTube and Facebook. But if you look in the comments, there is a link right to our StreamYard platform. You can join us over here too. That way you just see more activity, or you can stay where you are.
But if you comment on YouTube or Facebook, we will see your comments.
Yeah, we will see it, and
we
we
can
will
take
be
your
able to answer.
question.
So this is the story. Megan and I are going to introduce us and our company. That won't take more than 45 minutes. Just kidding. It'll take a couple minutes, and then we're going to introduce our guest speaker and this Q&A is, I entitled it, not very original, sorry, doctor, talking with your Boquete doc or your Panama doctor. And we're going to be interviewing a very well-known Panama doctor, and you guys are going to be able to quiz her for quite some time here. But Megan, why don't you quickly tell who you are and why you're here?
Sure.
And I'm going to bring up the screen.
Okay. So I'm Megan. I'm originally from Pennsylvania. I came to Panama in 2018 with the Peace Corps, and about a year in, met my now husband, Oscar, who is starting off a relocation tour in Panama City right now. And after 2 years as a Peace Corps volunteer, I loved Panama. I had fallen in love, of course, and decided to let me move here to Boquete and try out this expat life. So I started on with Retire in Panama, got to do a lot of tours, learn a lot about the expat community, since I had already learned so much about the local Panama community and a lot of rural towns and culture and learning Spanish. And it's been really interesting for me to combine those two worlds and bring that to our Retire in Panama expats and help them to bridge the gap between North American culture and Panamanian culture and find their happy new chapter here in Panama. And now I'm working as operations director since I have a 2.5-year-old here. So I do more of the back end stuff, customer service, helping you guys get ready for your tours. And then I love to meet our tour guests when they're here in Boquete area.
All right. My name is Rod Larrabee. I'm from Vancouver, Canada. I've now been here over 13 years. And it was funny. We mentioned this guy, Oscar. We should get a picture of Oscar.
I know.
And, but Oscar was my relocation guide when I arrived in Panama back in 2011. And he was already here helping expats get settled in and finding their immigration source, finding their insurance, finding their doctor. And it's kind of funny. It's the same clinic that he referred back then that we're still referring today. But that happens a lot with our sources and the people we work with. But anyways, so we started in business together, Oscar and I, pretty quick. And we had a tour company, local tour company, and we had an expat business where we basically were fixing expat problems because so many people were coming here just without the right knowledge or getting the wrong advice. Facebook was starting out being the Facebook experts were starting out back in 2013, 2014, and trust me, they're not. And people were getting in trouble. They would walk into our office and say, guys, I need help. I gave this lawyer some money and now I can't find him. Or I got pulled over by the police and they said my driver's license is no longer valid. I'm just, we're constantly putting on fire. So we decided to start this company that you're looking at today, Retire in Panama Tours, and where we teach people how to do it right from the beginning. So we offer 7-day cross-country tours, which were started today. Tomorrow morning, Oscar and Juan are in Panama City right now. They picked up all our guests from the airport today. Tomorrow, they're going to show them the culture and the history of Panama in Panama City, and then they cross the entire country, and I will meet them on Wednesday, like 3 days from now, on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, on the 4 days from now, I'll meet the group on Wednesday. On Monday morning, and then hang out with them for the next 3 or 4 days. Megan will join us also on the last few days. And we basically, it's a small group, and we teach these people, I think we have 14 on this group, and we teach these people how to move to Panama the right way. And when they decide to move, we work with them to make that happen. Because we only do one of these groups a month.
And we're not forcing Panama on them.
No, we're not here to sell you Panama.
Right. Those that decide it's for them, mm-hmm. That's why you do the tour, to make that decision. And then we're here to help you move if you want to.
Now, I can't say we have a lot of room on our tours right now. Our next available tour, we have a spot for a single in July. And then we have spots open this fall in September through December. And but we do have on our 3-day Cherokee Highlands tour, which is also very important. It's very important, which is also very popular. We have one spot at the end of April, and then we have a couple spots on a brand new tour we just put on in June. That's for people who know you're going to retire in the mountains of Cherokee, Boquete, Volcan, Delega, Palmyra, somewhere in there, and you don't want to spend the whole week touring the country in places that you're just not going to end up. So Teresa, you're on the April tour at the end of April. So if anybody wants to take a look at that, please take a look at our tours. Oops.
Boquete is one of the most popular places. So that's for people that know they want to be in Boquete or somewhere up here in the Cherokee Mountains.
Yeah. But right now, we are obviously on our flagship tour, our 7-day tour, where we show you every location in the country that an expat might want to retire to. I just put a link in the chat for you guys to take a look at it. We're done with our self-promotion.
But even even if you love Boquete, I think the 7-day tour is awesome because you get to make sure you saw it out all first, and that's where you want to be.
But the key to our tours, where we're different than all the other guys out there, when you decide to move here, Oscar, Megan, and I, you have our cell phone numbers, you have our WhatsApps, we get on video conferences, we build you checklists at no additional cost. That's all included within our tour because we only do the one per month, so we have the time to help you. So let's move into, once you got your immigration visa, you can move to Panama. The next thing you got to consider is healthcare. Many of you moving here, not all, but many of you are retirement age. And like me, that means we're getting older. And you need to consider, first of all, you need to consider how you're going to pay for your healthcare, whether you want to use the public system or the private system through insurance, and whether you're comfortable just having emergency insurance here. We'll talk about that. But let's dive into what the healthcare system is here. And we felt the best way to do this is introduce you to one of Panama's very well-known doctors. So I'm going to bring you up on the screen now, Dr. Shannon. So Dr. Shannon Tour lives here in Boquete. Hello.
Yep, here you go.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How about you guys?
Wonderful.
Very
wonderful.
good. Happy to have you on.
So
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Now is the time, guys, to type your questions in the comment section. You can probably take that off. And questions only in the chat now, guys. And please don't answer the questions. Let's leave that for us to do. Okay. And I'm going to ask Dr. Shannon a few. I can't even put it in Spanish. Yeah.
Doctora.
You're missing the A, Doctora.
I'm sorry. Well, it was geared towards your
I know.
expat.
Well, maybe we should do this all in Spanish. What do you think?
Está bien, yo puedo hacerlo en español o en inglés, como ustedes quieren.
Yeah, Megan can do it. Yeah. so let me ask you a few questions first. Where did you grow up in Panama, Doctor?
Okay, so I was about 18 when I came to Panama. Okay, I wasn't born here. I came with my father. He was an Army doc, and he was stationed at Gorgas Hospital in Panama City.
Oh, yeah.
So after I got out of high school, I went into the Marine Corps, and then due to asthma, they put me out, and I came to Panama to continue my studies. I studied at a local university. Here you go into medical school right out of high school. You don't need a 2-year or 4-year degree before going into medical school here. That was kind of my crash course in learning Spanish. Mm-hmm. I did know some Spanish at the time. I understood a lot of Spanish, but I didn't really speak it, read it, write it, and all that kind of thing. I knew the worst part of Spanish, I guess, the stuff that you wouldn't talk about in front of your parents type of Spanish. So it's a 6-year career here. They call it career. It's a 6-year study course. 2 years are pre-med, and then the last 4 years are all your science-based classes and your rotations in the hospital. And once you're done with that, you get your degree, and then you go into your internship. The internship is 2 years, and that's where you learn pretty much how to take care of hospitalized patients, and you're in charge of everything. I mean, everything. And you do about 6 months in your second year of internship in the outpatient clinics to learn how to treat outpatient patients and medications and management of diseases and that kind of thing. So I did that here in David in Regional Hospital. I did both years there. Usually most people do 1 year in Panama City, and then you have the obligation to do also 1 year in the interior. I just decided to do both years in the interior. I figured I'd learn more, and it was also my goal to move out of Panama, which I'd already lived there for like 24 years, and move to a different province and enjoy different type of lifestyle over here.
So you've been up here in Boquete for how long now? You don't have to say
Okay.
exact year, otherwise I know your age. Okay.
I've been in Boquete since 2015, and that's when I started my internship. I got my full license, so to speak, in 2017 and began practicing along with another doctor in a private clinic here in Boquete.
Mhm.
So
Dr.
I've been
Gomez.
working in Boquete for 8 years.
Right on. Cool. So now you're basically, this practice is a GP, like a general practitioner, right?
Correct.
You're a family
Family
doctor.
medicine GP, yeah.
Mhm.
So basically, we take care of
So-
everything. We see patients from, I've had patients 2 days old all the way up to 107 years old.
Mhm.
Wow.
So we see, yeah, big range, right?
Yeah, no,
And I've gotten to
kidding,
see
right?
a lot of my patients grow up. I mean, one of my patients that I saw since she was 2 days old is now 6. So yeah, it's makes me feel old.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you're not old. Someone just had a 30th birthday.
Getting there.
Yeah. Um, so what is, like, you have a private practice, right? You guys are in
Correct.
private, you're not part of the Mensa system. So people come
Right.
to you. If I come into your office and I see asked to see a doctor because I got a
Yep.
cough, I have to pay, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And what is the average cost for a consult in your office?
Between $15 and $20.
$15 and $20.
Correct.
So similar to
If
the
a
US.
treatment is required, that is extra. Yeah, I know it's
Yeah.
really expensive, right?
Yeah, but you guys have a full, like we've had our guests here that someone had food poisoning, you guys got a full room. You can put people on fluids, IVs, and like almost like you're not going to perform surgery on them, but you can do higher end care right in your
I've
clinic.
done minor surgeries and cauterizations and sutures and that kind of thing. Yeah. We have a resuscitation kit. You know, we can intubate if need be. We have on staff 2 paramedics, 2 docs. Both of us are English speaking. Both of us are general practice. The 2 paramedics are great. You know, the clinic is usually open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. After hours, we're available for emergencies because the 2 paramedics live at the clinic.
Oh,
So you call, you ring the bell,
ring the bell,
whatever,
someone.
they find me and I go in.
Mhm.
We have 2 treatments rooms as well as our stabilization room. So, you know, if 2 people need IVs or if one person needs an IV and one person needs to nebulize for cough, cold, asthma, or whatever, we've got available the 2 rooms, and we can also open up another room for overflow, so to speak.
Mhm. So, in your opinion, and we get asked this question a lot, but I've never asked an actual Panama doctor, what are the differences between the public hospitals and the private hospitals as far as level of care and stuff like that? Like
Okay,
really,
right.
Yeah.
So obviously in the private hospitals, you're going to pay a lot more money. Okay. Not like US price money, but it can be depending on the situation. Heart attacks, catheterizations, motor vehicle accidents that require surgeries and that kind of thing. The difference is that probably, I mean, same doctors work in both hospitals. In the public system, they work there from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. and then they'll go attend their private clinics in the afternoon after 3 p.m. So you have the same level of doctor. You know, the studies are excellent. Some of them have studied in the United States. Some of them have studied in other countries. Most here in Panama, and a lot of doctors speak English, or at least enough to be understood. The difference is that the public clinic is probably a lot better equipped for things like traumas and major health issues than the private hospitals are. If I were to get into an accident, I would rather be taken to the public hospital than taken to the private hospital, because they have the specialized equipment and the specialists needed right there. The private hospitals usually have to transfer the patient if they can't handle the care. If it's too complex, they send the patient to the public hospital. Other differences are, the public hospital, you don't get a private room for the most part. You're in a big bay with other patients. You have to provide your own toiletries. Family members can come visit during certain visiting hours in the private hospital. Toiletries are provided. Patients can actually have family members stay with them. I'm not sure what else to say. I think I said everything really about the differences.
Yeah, that is interesting because I remember during COVID where the public health care system, which a lot of expats think is not that good, it had all the COVID patients. It had all the it had all the machines, and the private system couldn't do anything. They would just send people.
Yeah, the private system also would hospitalize a patient and would be like $3,500 per day, minimum 10 days. So it really could add up too.
But if you see a doctor, like we see you said this to a heart specialist, and you say, Rod, you need a heart stent. You should probably have that done in a week. Where should I go, public or private?
Yeah, that type of thing, I would probably send you to the private to be evaluated, to get all the testing done. And then as far as the procedure, if you didn't have insurance to cover it or it was out of your budget, then I would send you, or that specialist has the option to send you to do the actual procedure in the public hospital.
Yeah. But with the private, what are the waiting times like? Could I get that done in a couple weeks in the private system, or what would happen in a public system?
Yeah, the private system, you could probably get it done almost immediately. Whatever procedure you needed done, just do the testing beforehand, the blood tests and all that, and depending on the availability of the specialist and having an availability, for example, an operating room or the specialized equipment needed, it would be a couple of days or immediately. In the public hospital, depending on the severity of the condition of the patient, you could do it almost right away, or if it were something that was non-life threatening, if it were orthopedic surgery, like a broken hip, a broken arm, you could wait weeks. Yeah.
That's good. Not like months or years like Canada.
Maybe not. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I want to bring up one more thing before we start answering some questions from these people.
Okay.
I'm from Canada. Megan's from the States. But our knowledge, I always seek out people like you, so I get a few texts about veteran services, FMP, TRICARE, stuff like that. Can you explain what you provide in this area and your connections? Let's say someone moves to the Panama City. Can you get them? Like, people there that provide services for the U.S. veterans?
Sure. So the FMP is the Foreign Medical Program, and that's basically U.S. veterans insurance outside of the United States. Veterans can receive treatment only for their disabilities. So if you have back strain or diabetes or prostate issues or cancer, you can only receive treatment for those disabilities. If you get a cold, that's not covered. If you have a heart attack or you get high blood pressure and it's not covered by a disability, whether it's 0% up to 100%, that won't be covered. What I do is I direct bill to the FMP. That means that I have you sign the FMP insurance form, and I have you sign a form called a 1500, which is a basic generic health insurance form. I see you, I order your meds. I have a pharmacy that covers the meds, and they do their own direct billing. So there is no out-of-pocket cost to the veteran. The TRICARE patients, I am now an authorized provider. I've got a provider number, but really it's easier for TRICARE recipients to do their own claims and get reimbursed, because basically they would have to pay a copay, and the copay would probably be about the same cost as an appointment with me anyways. So I do the prescriptions, I do the appointment, the TRICARE eligible person gets the receipts, turns them in, and gets their money back within a month or two, from what I've seen. As far as specialists, I've got specialists that I can contact for service-connected disabilities. I've got specialists both here as well as in Panama City, and I've also got people that can help with new claims, new disabilities, or getting a higher rating on an old disability. And I can provide nexus letters, and I've got specialists that can also provide nexus letters for those situations.
Perfect. Okay, let's get into some questions. Oh, there we go. Carol says, "Hello, Dr. Shannon. How are you?" Okay, Doctor, can you take out your appointment calendar? People want to book appointments. So, what is your clinic's appointment calendar look like? How far ahead should people be booking?
Actually, what we do is we work on a walk-in basis. So first come, first serve. There is no appointments, because when we do appointments, we also accept walk-ins, and those walk-ins will get attended in the order they arrive. So if we make an appointment, we'll be late. If you have an appointment for 3:30, but somebody walks in at 3:29 and you haven't gotten there yet, then you're going to be seen late, and people get upset when that happens. So we just work on a first come, first served basis.
Yeah. And guys, I've been going to that clinic since before Dr. Shannon. Dr. Gomez has been my family doctor here for 13 years. And we've taken our guests there and clients there. There's never long waits. This is not like a US Canadian waiting room.
No.
There could be 30-minute wait or something like that, but yeah.
I mean, every once in a while when I see a patient, if the case is really complex, sometimes it takes a little bit more time. If it's a new patient, sometimes it takes a little bit more time. So, I have had appointments that have lasted 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the complexity. But I do try to respect everybody's time and get to you as quickly as possible.
Yeah. That's just because somebody likes to tell you their whole story.
Sometimes that happens.
Well, with me. Michael Yates asks, as a cardiac patient, how would I renew my meds and have cardiac care?
Okay.
What should he do? Like he's moving here. We know him. What should be his first step once he arrives?
The first step would be to establish yourself with a primary care physician that can then refer you on to a specialist, a cardiac specialist. Depending on the complexity of the case and the medications taken, Dr. Gomez and I usually do all of the, follow-ups. We can adjust your medications and that kind of thing. If it's a more serious condition, then we send you down with a specialist. You want to definitely make sure that we have the medications that you are taking here in Panama. If not, we have to find an alternative treatment that will do the same thing for you.
So should people come down just with their pill bottles and bring them for the first meeting?
Definitely, you either want to bring the pill bottle, or what I would suggest to patients is keep a list of your medications and how you take them in your wallet, in your purse. Whenever you go to the doctor, you can take that out and you know exactly what you're taking, what it's for, what it's called, the dosage, and how you take it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We always have our guests on tours give us a list of all medications they're on, just in case.
Yeah.
And,
and don't hide any, because, we need to know all the medications. As well as supplements and vitamins and that kind of thing.
Okay, this one is from Jeff. My wife has chronic pain, prescription oxycodone. How is pain managed in Panama, handled by a primary doctor or a specialist?
Okay. So as far as primary care, most of us do not have a narcotics prescription pad, okay? Because here in Panama, narcotics are almost exclusive for cancer patients. While you can use them for chronic pain things like back problems, joint problems, and that kind of thing, they are harder to come by. Not everybody has a narcotics prescription pad. Not every doctor is willing to go and prescribe narcotics. We do have pain management specialists that can do it, and they are available. I don't know exactly which medications are available, but I do know that they're harder to get here, and there is less quantity of them in the country because really we just don't prescribe them. We use other combinations of medications to control pain.
Okay. And if any of you guys are worried that I skipped over your questions because we're doing all the ones directly to the doctor first, and we'll talk about insurance and other things after.
But maybe they're interested about the health insurance aspects that she can address.
Yeah. Okay, I regularly hear good things about public hospital in Las Tablas. Do you know anything about the Las Tablas hospital?
A little bit. I know that they built, it was maybe 10 years ago that they built that new hospital, Suzanne something or other hospital. As far as I know, it's pretty well equipped, but you definitely, for more advanced care, will probably be going to the closest, and I don't know what the closest
Trey's hospital is pretty good.
Yeah. But the care there is pretty good, yeah. And there's smaller clinics that can handle the initial stuff, and if need be, they will send you on to a larger institution if need be. But really, if you have any serious health issues, Las Tablas is pretty far away from large hospitals, so to speak. Yeah,
that whole area. We love the rural area. But
the peninsula is great. Yeah,
remote to large private hospitals.
Right. It's more difficult to get to them. You know, if you have serious health issues, you should live closer to Panama City.
Yeah, Panama City, or even in David, I guess, depending how serious.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But we do know people that have had really good care in Las Tablas and in Chitre. It's just like you're saying, if you need regular care, it's something different to think about.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to go live out in Playa Venal or something like that, or even further along if you have serious health issues.
Right.
Are there methadone clinics or anything like that here for people in the States that are taking a product like that?
No, as far as I know, methadone isn't available here.
Yeah. Somebody's asking, you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but they're asking where you were born. They're curious.
I was born on an army fort in Virginia called Fort Eustis. Yeah. My parents are Canadian, but I was born in Virginia. And since my dad was drafted into the army, we lived everywhere, basically. Yeah.
Okay. My husband and I from Marianne take prescriptions on a daily basis. What info do we bring the doctor to get our prescriptions renewed?
Yeah, I think definitely the names of the medications and the dosage and how you take it. Yeah.
You would get your new prescription in Panama with your Panama doctor, basically.
Yeah. But don't forget, if you're taking blood pressure medicine, folks, you're just going to walk into a pharmacy and ask for it. You don't need a prescription.
Sure. Yeah.
You're taking cholesterol. But you should see a doctor anyways. When
you should definitely see a doctor to make sure that the medication is still effective, that you're, doing okay on that medication. A lot of times Panama has a problem with the registry of the medication, and that particular medication won't be in Panama for a while. It could be weeks, it could be months, it could be longer. In that case, we'd have to change you to a different medication.
But what are some other reasons why it's important to get here and get yourself a family doctor in Panama?
Okay. Well, for one, if something happens to you and you're just found on the street unconscious, nobody knows anything about you, who you are, what your health issues are, what your allergies are, and that kind of thing. If you happen to pass away here, a doctor has to be established that can declare the death. And it's much better if we know who you are, what your conditions are, and what could possibly cause the death, so that you don't have to go through this whole process of going through legal medicine, having an autopsy, and then the family member having to get the body out of the morgue and to a funeral home, because it requires a doctor to sign off on the death. So that's another reason. But it's also just because you don't want to have to all of a sudden have an emergency and not know who to go to, and go to someone that doesn't know anything about your health history.
Great answer. Okay. Is lithium a medicine available in Panama?
Of course, we have lithium here.
Okay. Do you direct bill the VA staff?
Yes, I direct bill the FMP through the VA. All you have to do, like I said, is give me all the information. You have to be enrolled in the FMP for me to be able to direct bill the VA.
Okay. This is a good question. We got some people on Facebook saying there's this huge hospital being built in Alto Boquete, and tell us about it.
No, there's no hospital that is being currently built here in Boquete. What we have is that the old clinic, the public clinic in the center of Boquete, is not big enough now for the entire population. So what they're doing is they moved the public clinic to a new location, or they're in the process of moving the public clinic to a new location. Just like any of the other, what they call polyclinics, it will have certain hours. It will be available from 7 in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. And then I think they start seeing at least the emergency room part. I don't remember exactly from what hour, if it's from 11 p.m. on, or if it's something like that. But it won't have things like overnight hospitalizations. What it should have, ideally, is more specialists to be able to see patients on an outpatient basis, not an inpatient basis. For example, if the emergency room, it turns out that they're going to be open for 24 hours, it probably will not be staffed by a specialist. It'll be staffed by a primary care that will then have, if depending on how serious your illness is, have you sent down to David for more treatment or hospitalization. It's not going to be an overnight hospital. It is more of just a clinic.
Any estimation of when the new polyclinica will open? We've seen the
As far as I know, it was already supposed to be open, so I don't know.
I drove by today. I looked at it and said, okay.
Well, it's like more than 10 years in the making so far, so they're still finishing up. There's a big question as to the funding for more doctors, for specialists, for more equipment. There's a big question mark there. We don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
But no,
So
all major things have to go down to David.
Yeah. Dr. Shannon is one of the most popular doctors for the expats in Turkey province here. She just is. And in your experience, how many of them carry private insurance, or how many of them use the public system? What do you see?
As far as private insurance, some people try to get it initially when they come, but they find that for their needs, for the most part, it's not worth the expense because, one, they don't cover pre-existing conditions for the first 2 years. And then it's optional of whether they're going to cover it after that or not. So it could be an unnecessary expense if it's not going to cover your illnesses. Also, if you're 70 years old or older, it is really hard to get private insurance. And if you do, it's very, very expensive. So a lot of patients tend to pay out of pocket for their services. What they do is the money that they would have paid into an insurance, they put into account for emergencies. As far as specialists and things like that, specialists aren't really expensive here. A specialist, an appointment with a specialist might be between $50 and maximum $100. A hospital stay in a regular ward in a private hospital might be, $200-300 a night. Surgery such as a hip surgery, maybe 12,000, maybe 15, depends on the complexity of the surgery and the surgeon and any complications that might arise. So many people do what they call self-insuring, which is setting aside money for emergencies. Public hospitals, there are many that just can't afford to self-insure, can't afford to use private insurance, and they'll use the public hospital. It's kind of a pay what you can type of deal. They will give you a bill, and you don't have to pay it all up front like you do in a private hospital. In a private hospital, every day they'll expect you to pay whatever the expenses were. In a public hospital, when you leave, you could pay $2 if that's all you have in your pocket. And then they'll give you a payment schedule saying you could pay $5 a month, $10 a month, whatever you can afford for the remaining months. It's not like they're going to come chase you down in the streets and make you pay it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would also add that most people, like with private insurance, like Rod and I, we would never use it going to see you because it's mainly for emergencies. And to get to that $1,000 deductible, we would never do it in a year. So we're not going to even submit it if we're going to see you for a $15, $20 visit.
We're a huge advocate of expats that are under 70 and decent health. Get the private insurance while you can. I had zero pre-existing conditions, so I'm paying a couple $100 up front. I'm paying less than most expats in the States are paying for your Part C, and I'm covered in the States. It's when you get over 70, you got to look at some emergency plans. So there are some co-pay plans that the private hospitals have and stuff like that. So they'll pay 70, you pay 30. So there's many, many options we're not going to get into on this call tonight. If you look back on our YouTube channel 2 weeks ago, we go through all the different options of private health care and private health insurance and public. But as Dr. Shannon was saying, I had a friend who had a major hernia burst and major emergency. And he was taken into the public system. He did not have any type of insurance. He was in there for 3 days, had a surgery. The only thing he didn't like is when he asked for painkillers, they gave him ibuprofen. That's all they had at that time. Or
it's like being in the Army. That's what they give you. Lots of and ibuprofen.
Fight on the stick. But when he got out, it was $180 to bill with the option of paying it $15 a month.
They got it done.
Yeah. And that's what most people
doing just fine right now. So, but he woke up in a dorm. He called it a dormitory. He jokes that I woke up on a bunk bed, luckily the bottom.
So we say like generally for expats, probably you would prefer a private room in case of an emergency or hospitalization. And so think about that when you're thinking about what you're going to do for healthcare here.
I got a great question here about hospitals in Panama City. You've been here so long. Who do you recommend for a private hospital, good hospital in Panama City?
I would have to say pretty much all of them are pretty good. It depends on how much you are willing to pay out of pocket or, what your insurance company is using as a provider. Mm-hmm. So if you're just going to pay out of pocket, very good hospitals that are reasonably priced. Paitea Hospital is good and it's got good specialists. San Fernando is good. Those are two of the earliest hospitals. Santa Fe is a good hospital as well. It is not modern. Has not been modernized for I don't know how long, but they do a good job. And I think they might even have air conditioning now. I'm not sure.
Oh, really? That's an upgrade. San Fernando is one of the hospitals that has a insurance plan, where like a copay type plan.
I think the majority of private hospitals, you can buy their private insurance to be used in their hospital.
And they're very inexpensive. Like my age,
Yeah.
60s, I think they're like $130 or something like that. And then you only pay 30% of the procedure as opposed to 100.
Now,
So, as
if
a
you,
Panama doctor, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, if you go to a hospital like Punta Pacifica, which is associated with Johns Hopkins, expect to pay top dollar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as a Panama doctor and as an almost Panamanian, because we think of you like that, what vaccine?
Well, I have my citizenship.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you do. I know you have your citizenship.
I have to. Yeah.
You have your passport. Are there any vaccines that, like right now, the CDC tells North American travelers, yeah, you need this vaccine. You need to go to Panama. You're going to catch this, that. Is there really any vaccines that people require to come here?
Just your basic ones, unless you're planning on living in a Darien or up in the mountains closer to Costa Rica. You don't really have to worry about yellow fever.
Yeah.
I mean, I know on the CDC site it says get your yellow fever, but really that was pretty well eradicated a while back. We do have in certain areas you have to be careful because tuberculosis is endemic, and at least people from my generation didn't get TB vaccinations when we were kids. So I actually, when I was in medical school, I had no idea, and I got TB when I was doing one of my rotations through a TB ward. Yeah,
that's one way to spread it. Yeah, okay.
That's one way to learn about medicine.
No, I got upset about that with my son because as soon as he was born, they gave him the TB, and it gives them that purple scar, and all Latinos have. And I said, what was this for? Why did they give him this? And I found out like it is quite common in Panama, so it's good that he got it, but it's something that I never got.
Yeah. Oh, and get your measles.
Yeah. Other than that, there's not. Yeah, really, there's not a whole lot of. I mean, I've seen cases of malaria, I've seen cases of dengue, but really, I haven't seen a whole lot here, even in the interior in Boquete, in the country. We call it the interior. It's the country. I haven't seen a whole lot of cases of those things. So maybe dengue more than malaria.
Yeah.
Okay. How about specialized meds, like biologic meds, like Humira? Is this
okay? So we do have some of the biological medications, especially for allergies and asthma and that kind of thing, cancer. They're extremely expensive here, and you would definitely want to get insurance coverage. I don't know about Humira. I don't recall if we have it here, but we're getting more and more in all the time.
James and Shelley are asking, do you do CHAMP VA as well?
I can do the paperwork. I am working on getting my provider certification from CHAMP VA. They did send me the information I'm supposed to fill out, but it's a lot of paperwork. So yeah, I can do the prescriptions, I can do the appointment, and then you just get reimbursed. CHAMP VA is a little bit different than TRICARE, as TRICARE is for retirees and family members of retirees. CHAMP VA tends to have a little bit better coverage than TRICARE does here in Panama, but I haven't gotten my provider certification just yet, but I do believe that they will still reimburse you if you come see me.
Yeah. We got someone moving to Volcan. They want to compare your clinic to the one Volcan. Like, do you know of any doctors or clinics in Volcan? Like, do you know
Oops.
them there?
I'm sorry, I just lost you for a second. My
Oh,
internet kind of flickered.
okay.
Okay, so the clinic in Volcan, there is a big public clinic in Volcan. It's one of the Minsakapsi, if I'm not wrong. And they do have doctors, they do have, you know, basic treatment, kind of like the private clinic I'm working in. As far as private clinics, I believe there's one private clinic that has an English speaking doctor. But really, for anything, you need to go down to David. And the trip down to David from Volcan is quite a bit longer than from Boquete to David. So, again, if you have any serious health issues, you probably won't be picking Volcan as your hometown. Did that come through
Okay,
okay?
we're moving. I think we're on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did.
Okay, good.
We
Yeah.
just had a little buffering going on.
Okay. So let's do. Now, do you know any prices for consults with specialists in David or Panama City?
Mhm. As I commented earlier, they can range anywhere between 35, 40, all the way up to $150, depending on the doctor.
Mhm.
Now, if you go to the public clinics, the cost of a visit with a general practitioner is 50 cents and a specialist is like $2.
Yeah.
But don't expect to get in the
Little
same day.
different. And it's probably the same specialist that you're going to see and pay $75 to if you had insurance.
Probably, but you'll get a whole lot less time with the specialist,
You will,
and you
yeah.
also have to wait longer to see them.
Yeah, okay. Mhm. Now, someone wants to know, they must be coming here, Angie, where is the
Uh-huh.
clinic? It is a block north of the Romero grocery store across the street from Milo. Look at
Correct.
that in Google Maps and you'll find it.
You'll find it, yeah.
Yeah, Angie's
Yeah.
coming
Or
on tour
just
with us.
about ask anybody in
Oh,
town.
yeah.
Angie, I'll send you the Google Maps.
Well, Angie, if you get food poisoning or anything, we'll take you right to Dr. Shannon. No, just kidding. We won't. Well, we will.
if
That's
you're
where
staying
they
very
come.
close to there, so you'll be able to walk over in 10 minutes. Yeah, I think that was a good point that we didn't mention though, is in public system, in private system, going to your clinic, you won't wait more than 30 minutes typically.
Yeah.
Usually
Yeah.
faster than that. In public system, you might wait a few hours at least.
Yeah.
Oh, I've
to see a
seen people
specialist.
lined up at 7 in the morning. They've been lined up there an hour or two to see a doctor at the Mensa clinic.
And if it's something serious, we don't make you wait to see us. You know, if you look bad or whatever, they will call us out of our consultation with whatever patient we're with and have us see you if you're not doing well. And then we'll get you set up and you know, if you need to be seen by a specialist or something after we stabilize you, then you know, then you can go down.
Perfect. You know of anyone that hasn't been able to move here because the medicine particular medicine they take is not available in Panama? Is there any condition you're aware of?
For the most part, no. There are some patients that want things done a certain way. You know, if they have a Foley catheter for urination or something like that, and they don't want to have to, you know, they want the pre-prepared ones and they don't want to have to set up a non-pre-prepared one all by themselves. Or if they're worried because the electricity goes out a lot and they require oxygen or CPAP, then, you know, those kind of things, yes, but more because of the inconvenience, not because it can't be done.
What do the Panamanians do about that wear CPAPs and have oxygen? Because I know
There is available large oxygen tanks, and those have to be approved by the fire department, but those can be used instead of
And
something
battery
that
backups.
requires, yeah,
Um,
or a battery backup, yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the big question that we keep getting.
Yeah, it was just in the news recently.
Okay.
The president was just talking about this
Come
maybe
on,
yesterday.
Dr. you must know about this. Tell us your take. What's happening here?
Well, so far it's a mess. Even
A
though
mess.
the law was passed that medical marijuana can be used, there's going to be really strict guidelines for it. And so far, we don't know who are going to be the growers and distributors and that kind of thing. That has not been worked out yet. So while it's legal, it's also not quite legal yet.
Mhm.
You mean
Things
the
like,
distributor, the guy on the corner of the park? That guy?
well, I don't
Okay.
recommend doing that.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So,
legal, but there's nowhere to legally purchase it. Or
exactly.
legally
There are
prescribe.
no dispensaries or anything like that that I am aware of
Yeah.
at this moment because they haven't gotten who's going to be doing the growing and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. That's where exactly the last I've heard of it too.
Yeah,
you
but as
familiar
far as I
with-
know, it's going to only be for things like cancer and that kind of thing.
Yeah, they're actually giving it for that for sure.
Yeah.
Familiar with digestive issues and the cost of EPI zones.
Digestive issues, yes, there are digestive enzymes available, different kinds. I'm not exactly sure what the EPI enzymes are, but there are oral enzymes that are available over the counter that are used to help with digestive issues.
Okay. Is there any common meds that routinely have shortages?
That part is a crapshoot. Yeah, things like sleep meds.
Yeah.
That's the main thing is the sleep medications, the benzodiazepines, the Xanax, the Ambien, those kind of things. They can it's not necessarily a shortage, it's more that our version of FDA, the certification runs out and it takes a long time to recertify the medication.
Yeah. There's a question from Julia. Julia is a physician in North Carolina. What can I do in the medical field in Panama?
Basically nothing because it's a protected career. All medical stuff is protected. You can volunteer under certain situations, volunteer with the Red Cross, volunteer with different volunteer organizations, but you cannot practice medicine.
Unless you become a Panamanian citizen, which is
Yeah.
a long process.
It is.
From Teresa, are there physiotherapists in Boquete?
Plenty. There's quite a few of them and very good, as well as osteopaths that can handle the same thing that a physical therapist does, just a slightly different approach.
So a physiotherapist is a normal trade in Panama, like doctors train in that and practice all over?
Yep.
I've
They
never-
have their registry numbers. They have their what we call idoneidad, which is the license number. They're very well trained and they know how to use different types of equipment and different exercises and that kind of thing.
Okay, perfect. How accessible is chiropractic care in Panama?
Since it's not really a recognized thing here in Panama, there aren't too many of them. There are a few that do chiropractic like things like osteopaths and stuff, but those aren't really recognized careers here. So, yeah, there's not a whole lot of chiropractic care, at least not legally.
But if you go to an osteopath, it's very similar to chiropractic care, depending on who you see. Like for example, Renee Scribi is an osteopath here in Boquete who does adjustments mostly like a chiropractic would.
Yeah. I mean, he's licensed and he got his license from somewhere, but it's still not a recognized profession here. Osteopath. Yeah.
And there are people that are chiropractics that maybe became Panamanians, were trained in the States, or
Yeah.
are Panamanians, and they do that work, but maybe under a different title.
Right. Really, they can't get certified since the career doesn't exist here. They can't get certified as a chiropractor, maybe as like a masseuse or something like that. But you want to be very careful. You want somebody that actually has a certification.
Yeah.
Right.
Where can I get an MRI with contrast? I don't know what that means.
Well, okay. So an MRI with contrast can be done just about any hospital that has MRI equipment.
Okay. Do they, like, let's say I wanted to get an MRI and I keep hearing people do this. I don't really know what it's for. They go see the doctor, they send them to a specialist, and the next day they're getting an MRI. What does that cost here? Not like a
depending on the part of the body or how extensive, or if it's with contrast or without, it usually is around $1,000.
Yeah. Okay. We got some insurance questions. I want to get the direct doctor questions first. Okay, I don't know what that is. Insurance does Medicare pay for care needed? I keep getting, I have to answer, no guys, Medicare is a coverage for the US. It does not cover you here whatsoever. You may have a Part C that covers you down here for a particular amount of time, like an Advantage plan, but basic Medicare does not cover
Certain
you.
Advantage plans will cover
specific
emergencies only.
with specific insurance companies.
Yeah.
And I know some that have already stopped. So it's
they're not having very good luck with it. So
no, because they're not getting paid because it wasn't an emergency.
Right.
I just heard of one incident that just happened in Debbie, big bill too.
Yeah, definitely.
But we're not talking about medical advantage on here. Here we go. Here's a little bit too. You hear a lot about this CBD gummy, CBD. And what do you know about
There are some like Cloud Force botanicals here in Boquete that have been certified. They've gotten all of their stuff done through the Ministry of Health. Those are allowed.
You guys looking for that? There's good friends of ours, Elizabeth and Diane. Please fill out our contact form and we'll contact you to them. They sell CBD products, including gummies, and they are legal here.
Yes.
Okay. Like Dom Permin Dom.
Yes, that's not a champagne, and yes, it is available.
Well, I thought that was Dom Perrier or something like. Come on, that's French champagne.
Yeah, no, that is available.
Yes. I saw that in the liquor store last week. How about Wellamoon patches for sleep?
I don't know what those are.
Must be a brand probably not sold here.
Probably not.
Okay. How about let's talk a little bit about naturopaths. Naturopathology, is that a word? It's still big in North America. Not that big here yet. Yeah. Are there Panamanian legal doctors practicing that type of medicine here?
We can call it more of an alternative medicine type of deal. Yes, there are physicians that do practice it on a very limited scale. It's not quite recognized here, so you kind of take your chances. Yeah, but yes, we do have
health insurance. I know that. Anything
it definitely would not be covered by health insurance, and it's things like ozone treatments, and I'll do a lot of natural stuff in addition to Western medicine.
Yeah. I've always been impressed with Dr. Shannon and Dr. Gomez clinics. They don't push pills. Like I had pill pushers back in Vancouver. I came here and with Dr. Gomez in the first 3 years, I lost 55 pounds, and I had normal cholesterol and blood pressure after so many years of not.
Yeah, we try to go weeding down the medications because a lot of them are either medications that all do the same thing, or just really not necessary.
There's so many people that move here, folks, that are like we see it because we require our guests to fill in a medical form because if something happens to you, we want to be able to give it to the doctor. This is the medicines that the unconscious person is on. And we see so many people with, 8, 10, 12, 14 medicines. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Down here, people seem to get off more of them.
Yeah, that's a pretty good assessment. That's a trend here that people tend to start losing weight, less stress, their blood pressure goes down, their weight goes down, they're living more healthily. So, yeah.
For those of you looking at health insurance stuff, since our call is almost over here, go to the Retire in Panama Tours YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, type Retire in Panama, all one word. You'll find our YouTube channel. Look under live. All of our past Q&As are there. And we have an hour-long health insurance program that we did 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, specifically if you search at Retire in Panama, you'll find our YouTube channel.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So, do you know anything about Creon enzyme?
I think he said
that is
a
brand. It's a pancreatic type of enzyme, and we've got similar stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what he said.
Not necessarily that brand.
Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. So, any last minute thoughts? Like, what are you've been in that clinic, you've become the expert on, you've had a radio show in Panama.
I did have a radio show for a while.
Now, maybe we should do a monthly Q&A show.
Anything that expats should know moving here about adjusting from North American medical system to Panama medical system.
Yeah, there are things that, doctors here don't normally communicate with each other. So for me to send someone to a specialist, unless that patient is bringing their diagnostics, their medications and everything back from that specialist, I will have no idea what the specialist did for them. If you get a laboratory, if you get an x-ray, you are responsible for those tests. You have to pick them up, the results, and bring them to me to be looked at, to give you a diagnosis. The lab, for the most part, will not send me anything. Radiology will not send me anything. Even if you come and drop it off at the office, I probably won't see you because you really need to come see me with the lab report in hand and go over it. I can't, it's really hard to remember who each person is, who each patient is, just receive the labs and go, oh yeah. That just doesn't happen.
Yeah,
so that's a big difference.
When I first came here, I went to see the doctor. Something bit me in bed. So I had to go for blood tests and stuff. I go next door. I get that all done. And I say goodbye. I think they're telling me, wait. What for? Oh, no, you have to take the results back to the doctor. Oh, really? That's different. But my big x-ray.
Exactly. Yeah. We don't get them. The office doesn't contact you saying, oh, you have to come back and see the doctor, or the doctor prescribed this for you. No, you have to come see me with the results, and then we discuss what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I love it. I mean, I think when you go see your doctor, it's a full conversation. You're not feeling rushed. They're not just looking at the computer of your history and your results and then here, do this, then that. It's a real conversation. And often you have each other's phone number. And like for the pediatrician for my son, if she says to get labs, just routine labs, and I send them to her and she said, okay, all looks good. And it's a way more personal relationship. Yeah. And you feel more heard, I think.
Let's try to get one more question.
That they can get a hold of me when they need to. They'll send me a WhatsApp. They'll send me a study or whatever. Do I need to come see you? No, everything looks good. And, that kind of thing.
Let's get one more question in from Canada. They're coming down here. Their son has progressive hearing loss. Do you know someone in Panama City that, like an ENT specialist in Panama City?
There is a specialist by the name of Robert Samuels.
Samuel?
He is Samuels, yeah. He is in a national hospital, Hospital Nacional.
Yeah, National.
Yeah, and he is a good English-speaking ENT.
Rob's writing it down.
I'm writing it down. Don, if you could go to our website, TarynPanamaTours.com, to send me a contact. I get that email. And I will look up Robert's information and send him to you. Thank you. People
For those
ask.
people asking for Dr. Shannon's
Oh, yeah. Here that hundreds of people.
I'm sorry, I lost you for a second. What was the question?
How would you like people to contact you? There's people on this call asking for your contact information.
Okay, the easiest way to get a hold of me is on WhatsApp on my work cell phone, which is 6-507-4299.
Okay. I just put it in the chat, guys. 650-74299. That is her WhatsApp number. And if you don't know what WhatsApp is, you're going to have to Google that. That's what everyone in Panama and around outside of the U.S. uses to communicate, folks.
That's what we use. Please make sure it's a text.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you want, I'm going to type in her personal cell phone number. You can contact her 24/7. Oh, no, just kidding. But that is plus 507 is Panama's country code, and the 8 digits is the cell phone number. So if you're on WhatsApp, that will be how to contact her. And that is her office line, so she'll answer that during the day.
Yeah, if you're here in Panama or want to connect, but please don't call her from the North America with every question about every
what should I do about insurance? She doesn't deal with that.
Reach out to us and we'll try and help you.
I had someone talk about vitamins. Yeah, we actually have a vitamin shop here, like the U.S. brand vitamin shop across the country. We have many supplements. All the grocery stores have all kinds of supplements, everything that I'm used to. I take quite a few supplements. So all right.
Easy to find.
We're getting warnings on our end that we're running out of time. Melanie thinks I'm funny. Where's Melanie? When are you coming back here? All right, guys. Thank you very much, Dr.
It
was really nice to have you tonight.
We know that
you guys.
And for those of you guys that are in Cherokee, Dr. Shannon's a great doctor. She'd love to be your family doctor. So go visit her. All right, guys. Bye,
Thank
everybody.
you so much. Good night, everyone.
Have a good night, everyone.